So I have f of x, and I have in this problem 3 parts. I'm going to identify the restriction of the domain, because it tells you over here x values and where they are. So I notice a couple of them at -1, so I'm going to draw a vertical line at x -1. Remember, this is not an asymptote. This is just kind of a boundary line, a visual. Tell me where to draw my open and closed circles. Over here I notice they both have a 2. Now sometimes you do have piecewise functions that are continuous and some that are discontinuous, or basically they connect, or sometimes they have gaps. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first one. I have f of x equals -2. Remember, f of x is a fancy way of saying what? Y values. So when y equals -2, this should be a hint that it's going to be a constant. Let's just say you don't know that. Later on, we'll show you how to do it in your calculator. You can make up numbers for your x values. So if I graph that, 0, -2, 1, -2, and 2, -2, draw your line. Do this one in blue. At -1 here, is this going to be an open or closed circle?
Closed.
How do you know it's closed?
Because the equal sign under the equal sign.
Class, left or right?
Right.
Remember, the cheesy way is just pointing to the left. But remember, you want to understand that values smaller than -1, -5, -10. Go and erase everything else. Alright, let's go ahead and graph f of x equals 1 plus x. Now, if you were intimidated by that, you could just rewrite it. You could have graphed x plus 1, or we learned yesterday you can put your slope in front of that, so it's in the same form of slope-intercept form, where my y-intercept is 1. I have a rise of 1, run of 1. Rise of 1, run of 1. Up 1, right 1. Remember, if you need to go the other direction, this is positive, so you can also say -1 over -1. Down 1, left 1. Down 1, left 1. Go ahead and graph that. Is this one in pink? Okay, now this one has 2. At -1, is it open or closed?
Open.
And at 2, is it open or closed?
Closed. Closed.
Now this should tell you in the compound inequality, this is an and problem, right?
Yeah.
They should be facing in, so I'm just going to connect those two. I do like seeing the different colors even on your quiz or test. It really shows me you can see it. And not only is it helpful for me, it's helpful for you. Alright, the last one I'm going to graph is y minus x. So you can do -x plus 1. And so that would be a -1 over 1. So if we graph that, start at 1. And from here, you're going to go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. Remember, you can reverse this. You can say +1 over a -1. So you can go up 1, left 1. See this one in green. Class, are you going to have open or closed?
Open.
So at 2, we're going to have an open because it says greater than. In class where a value is greater than 2.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Values that are greater than are to the right.
Yeah.
Now before I erase the second part of this line, I want to show you something. Here's a tip that you know you're doing it correctly. If you went this direction, you see them crossing. You shouldn't have that. In each of these boundaries, there should only be one graph. So if you left the pencil there, you see 2 of them. And you'll notice in each of these I have 1. So in our graph, let me tell you some other things. How would you evaluate the functions? So if I told you you have 3 functions, blue, pink, and green, and if I told you the number 3, think to yourself where 3 would be. 3 is it smaller than -1?
No.
Is 3 between -1 and 2?
No.
3 is bigger than 2, so you would go to the green.
Yeah.
Right? 3, and then go down here. It's on my green function. Okay? Now, let's just say you picked 2 itself. Look what happens at 2. Can I pick this one? Is 2 greater than 2, class? No. That's why it's an open circle. It's telling you it's undefined. Don't pick this function, pick this function. Okay? So let's do a quick review. Class, is this continuous or discontinuous?
Huh?
This is discontinuous because my pencil has to be picked up in order to draw those graphs. Class, are these infinite discontinuities? No, we learned yesterday that these are not asymptotes.
Yeah.
If they were asymptotes, then you can say that. These are what type of discontinuities?
Jump.
You are jumping. Alright, so let's go ahead and graph the piecewise function. Let's double check your calculators. Make sure you press second y equals. And make sure all of your stat plots are off. I'm going to press y equals. I'm going to clear out what I have. And then I'm going to go ahead and type in our function there. I have -2. Remember the difference between negative and a subtraction sign. I made a mistake. So I want you to put it starting with a parenthesis. So let's say you made a mistake like I did. You can also press opposite of delete is insert. Second delete. And I can just do a parentheses. Everyone say divided by. I'm not going to explain in the math. I'm just going to explain how to get it on the graph. And do another parentheses. And now we're going to do x. And then next, we're actually going to need to use the inequalities. Second math. Say that. Now I have all the inequalities. I'm going to do less than or equals to, which is number 6. And then it says -1, so type in -1. Close parentheses. Okay, you know that it's going to graph this one because the equal sign is highlighted. Now you can just press enter. No, go back up one. And now I'm going to do the second one, so parentheses y1 plus x divided by Now this one is a compound inequality. It says -1 less than x less than 2. So we need to break it apart. So we're going to write x greater than -1 and x is less than 2. So let's write that. X, I'm going to get my inequality sign, second math, greater than, which is number 3, -1. And now I'm going to get the word and. So that'll be second math And now I'm going to scroll over to the right and click on logic. And I'm going to use the word and. I'm going to do the same thing now. I got x is less than, so second math, less than is 5. And then that'll be 2. Close the parentheses. Alright, now I'm going to get my third one. And then now I'm going to do parentheses, negative x. 1 minus x, right? If you get it wrong, you can just go over it, you press the delete button, close the parentheses, divided by. This one will be x is greater than 2. Alright, once I have all 3 of them, you'll notice my equal signs are highlighted. It's actually going to graph all 3. Zoom, and then 6. If you have a newer calculator, it'll actually graph all of those in different colors. You can actually choose the colors that you want. Raise your hand if you're able to get those on your graph. And then you can actually do the same things we've done before. You can still use a table. Is that kind of neat? It's telling you where there should not be a graph. You see it?
Yeah.
And it'll actually tell you at that value what you should get.